My name is Eric Bonar. I'm the Communications Manager at the Chamber of Commerce, the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce. We hold webinars and trainings for members and non-members at different times. And as you know, today is the Neuro-Marketing Webinar. I'd like to start out by showing you my screen, which is, does not want to work for me. There we go. This is the control panel, the user's control panel, and users have different abilities. If you have a microphone connected to your computer, you can talk with us and visit. On the control panel that you have, you'll see a couple of different areas where you can raise your hand. You also have your mute button for your mic. These are just a couple other things that you can do, ask questions, and there's a chat section where you can let us know if you have a question or if you'd like for us to stop and speak on something different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and introduce our presenter this morning. His name is Ron Terry. Ron Terry is a partner in business performance strategies. His company helps small businesses increase profits by improving customer retention. His corporate experience includes work with companies such as General Motors, Cooper Industries, NASA, the Federal Aviation Administration, Electronic Data Systems, and Sprint. He received his undergraduate degree in social sciences from the University of Michigan and his EDS from Wayne State University in Detroit. He currently lives in San Antonio with his wife, Sarah, and their chocolate lab, Bubba. So I'd like to introduce Ron Terry to you, and I'm going to turn over the presentation to him. So Ron Terry, welcome and thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. I really appreciate that introduction. And thanks for everybody who is here. I appreciate your participation. And what we're going to talk about today is neuromarketing, your value proposition. Again, my thanks to Workforce Solutions and the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this event. I would just want to augment a little bit what Eric said about me. Is for the last 20+ years, I've been trying to work with businesses to create more value, both more value in terms of their employees and also more value when they come in contact with their customer and the customer experience. This presentation is predicated on 4 key pieces of information. The first is Jay Arrett and his work at the marketing spot. And by the way, at the end of this presentation, you will have my email address. If you want any more specifics about these references, please send me an email. I will be happy to give you all this information. And even if you want a copy of the presentation, send me an email, and I will get that back to you. So Jay Arrett, a wonderful resource about marketing. I strongly encourage you to go to his website at the marketing spot. He's got a lot of resources for small business owners. Neuromarketing is a book by Patrick Wenbois and Christopher Morin. It's just really laden with easy-to-read kinds of things about what's happening with brain science. The DNA of Customer Experience is wonderful by Colin Shaw. It talks about emotions and how emotions drive behavior and create value, and then creating your value proposition, which is a series of authors which I found to be a very positive book and a good resource. What we're going to try and do today is identify some basics when it comes to neuromarketing. We're going to look at the concept of value and a value proposition and how we use emotion to help make decisions. So let's go to the very basics. A lot of brain science is coming out. This is a fascinating field. It's changing all the time. But to simplify it, if we think of our brain as 3 pieces, we have the frontal cortex, in which it does a lot of thinking and processing. The middle of the brain, the amygdala, is really a source of emotions and feelings. And then we have this other section of the brain that I'm going to call the old brain that is really the basis for making decisions. Now, we want to think that we're very rational creatures and we process things and we think about value in all kinds of empirical terms, but really our old brain has some specific criteria by which it makes decisions. And here's what they look like. These 6 criteria, these are decision attributes that impact our old brain. Let's look at them very quickly. We are self-centered, we care about ourselves. When we're trying to make a decision, we like a lot of contrast. It has to be very specific and very concrete. Abstract concepts make decision-making more challenging. The older part of our brain that makes decisions tends to remember the first things, the first impression, and it also tends to remember the last impression more than anything in the middle, and that's really important if you're making presentations to your customers. The first and the last have the most impact on the decision-making part of the brain. Our decision-making, it's very visual, and visual, so if we're talking a lot to our clients, customers, and guests, we probably want to watch it. If we're going to be talking, we better be talking in word pictures. Or if we're going to be talking, it better be augmented by some visual kinds of support and presentation materials. And then finally, the use of emotions are strong when it comes to making decisions. So emotions impact decision making. So let's move on and talk a little bit about value. So we know about the decision-making part of the brain, so let's talk about value. The age-old formula, value equals benefits minus costs. So the question I want to ask is, what is the source of value? Tisha, you're out there. What's the source of value?
Source of value is the perception based on the customer, on how they view things.
Absolutely. That is absolutely great. Remember, value is always in the eye, like beauty, value is in the eye of the beholder. Value is in the eye of the customer. So that's our starting point. And remember, costs could be anything. They could range from actual monetary costs, time costs, convenience costs, or it could be risk. We always want to mitigate risk in order to create more value for our customers. But again, value as they define value. So let's look at value and how we can build value in our organizations. If we just sell a product or a service, we just sell tires, or we just sell hammers and nails. That's a product or a service. That's at the lowest level of value creation. Next up on the hierarchy is when we bundle things. So if we're selling hammers and we bundle it with nails, and we have a hammers and nails combination, that creates more value than either one of those products by themselves. Sorry. And then we create solutions which go beyond bundles but actually solve a particular problem. It may be the warranty on your vehicle. It's a bumper-to-bumper warranty. It solves the problem of you having to worry about any kind of mechanical breakdown, and the bumper-to-bumper warranty includes also that you're going to get a loaner vehicle while your vehicle is undergoing maintenance. They'll come out, they'll drop it off, and a bunch of other features that make this a solution that helps you solve a problem in your life or in your business. And then the highest form of value is when we create value together, when we find unique solutions to problems that the customer has that are extremely customized and create a unique set of circumstances for that individual customer or group of customers. Here's our example. We just have a product or a service, a Big Mac, just a single product. It's at the lowest level of value. When we put the Mac combo out there, we bundled it. So we created a little bit more value with the fries and the drink. Nutrisystems. Now we've gone ahead and we've planned meals for a week or a month, and they're nutritionally balanced. So we solved the problem. What am I going to eat today? I already know on my Nutrisystems menu. And then finally, what if we had a personal chef and a personal trainer? this is really the apex of value, because here what we're looking at is your specific caloric intake, metabolic rate. We're looking at how your body type and how much exercise you should be getting, and your strength and conditioning and all those things. We're creating a very customized solution for your particular situation. When I say your, I mean your customer and what he or she values. Let's take a look at that value hierarchy from another perspective. On the left-hand side, if you look at the yellow arrows, notice at the two lower levels of a product or a bundle, you're just communicating value. When you start getting into solutions or creation, you really are doing that. You are creating value. And that's the difference as you move up the hierarchy. You can talk about value, or your products, services create value. And then the more value you create, the more valuable your product or services are, and the more you can charge. On the right-hand side, look at the white arrow going upward. We start at a lower level, which is a transactional level, which has less value, and we move higher to creating more value, which is a consultative or a relationship kind of proposition. And that's where we want to be with most of our customers and clients. So let's go and look again. We're going to take the difference between our hamburger and our personal chef and our personal trainer. If we look at the decision-making part of the brain, our Big Mac most likely hit these points. And again, I'm open to a little bit of interpretation here. You might have a couple others. The Big Mac, clearly, it's all about me. I want to get that Big Mac, so the decision-making part of my brain self-centered. Very specifically, the Big Mac I can touch and I can hold and I can see. So we have the concrete and the visual aspects of the decision-making part of our brain. So we can see all the points that we touched when it came to making a decision from our neuromarketing perspective. Now let's see what happens when we look at our personal chef and our personal trainer. We have much more, we've hit much more of the decision elements by using a personal chef and a personal trainer. And that coincides perfectly that we created more value, and this becomes more appealing to us because we've hit more of those decision attribute centers. It's self-centered. We see a contrast between what would happen if we had a personal chef and a trainer versus not having one, just eating fast food all the time. It's concrete. We will be able to talk to somebody. We will see the food. We will go through the exercises. We see first and last here. What we're trying to do is we get an image of what would happen at the beginning and how we would look at the end. It's clearly visual. We can see all the things that are going on around us, and there could be a strong emotional component. And the emotion might be that after I get done with my personal chef and trainer, that I'm going to look better and feel better. I'm going to feel better about myself. I'll think I'm more attractive. I have more value. I'm more self-assured, and therefore all these emotions go together to help me make a decision that, wow, yes, personal trainer, personal chef, that's what I want to do.
Hey, Ron, I have a question.
Yes.
I was just wondering why, based on making decisions, why wouldn't we include the cheeseburger in the emotion aspect of that? And, for example, if someone is upset and they just want to go through a drive-thru and grab a cheeseburger, it just sounds good at the moment, and they feed themselves just because based on the moment. Why would you not include that part of the emotion part of making decisions?
And Tisha, that is a wonderful question, and absolutely you could. Again, when I started this off, I said that there could be some negotiation here, and absolutely, if that Big Mac has some emotional connection with you, maybe something from your past, in your childhood, made you feel good, then yes, we should put that Big Mac on the emotion button, the emotion attribute that's in the decision-making part of your brain. That is a wonderful observation. Thank you very much. So let's move on here. And now we want to take a look. So now we've built value. We've talked about how our brain makes decisions. Now let's look at our marketing framework. And that's primarily looking at those 4 orange circles on your screen. Starts with the brand, moves to experience. Then once customers have an experience, they start talking about it, which is the conversation. And then that conversation can be incorporated into a promotion, which is our marketing and our advertising. So now I have a question.
Yes.
Eric, what is the brand? What is a brand?
Brand is what the company is about. It's what a company is trying to get across to the consumers. So it's not just like, it's not only a logo, but it's who they are, who their employees are, and what that company is about.
Thank you. Tisha, what's a brand?
I think of a brand as a personality of the company or brand name of the product.
Okay. So both of those are great answers. The brand goes beyond whatever products and services that we provide. Brand is really about who we are as the company. It's our personality. Brand is really the emotional, the physical connection that customers and guests and clients have with us. Again, it's more than our products and services. It's that emotional connection that they feel with us. That is our brand. That is our personality. Many things go to make up the brand. One of the elements inside of the brand is a strategy. A strategy based upon our brand will yield a value proposition. Now notice the strategy is in the brand circle, but the value proposition is really for our customers in the experience circle. And we're going to move on to talk a little bit more about that. Our strategy creates a value proposition, and our value proposition has to be targeted at specific customer segments. Eric, why is that the case? Why do we have to have specific customer segments?
You target specific segments because some segments won't. Well, let me use an example. For like here at the chamber, we will target members, say like TXI Cement, who is a platinum member. We'll send them information on sponsorships that we have available for events and such, but we won't send that information to the nonprofit organizations because the nonprofits really don't have the money to be able to spend. So instead of using our marketing funds to target everybody, we're targeting a specific group that we feel would be more likely to pay for a sponsorship for something.
That's a good answer. Tisha, what's the source of value?
Source of value is based on the customer and their personal perceptions on what is important to them.
So then why does it make sense to have customer segments?
Oh, because I mean, you want individuality. You want certain products for certain people to feel like they can adapt or feel like that's what they need in order to, make their life complete or whatever it is at the moment that they need to have.
And thank you both. Those are very good answers. We have targeted customer segments because if we have similar customers who see value in the same way, then we can create product offerings that meet those value expectations. That's why we need to target our customers into segments as opposed to just saying we're going to sell to everyone. Yes, we can sell to everyone, but within that category called everyone, there probably are some distinct ways that people look at value. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely, and I want to say forgot at the very beginning to introduce my intern to everybody, Tisha. She's a PR major here at the Texas State University, so we're testing her during this.
And Tisha's a good sport. You're doing great, Tisha. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
As we move down, we talk about the value proposition now. The value proposition, remember the value proposition comes out of strategy. It's based at very clearly defined segments of our customer base. And the value proposition is composed of 3 components. Capability of what we can do for the customer, impact, how we affect the customer, how do we make their business more profitable, their employees more productive, whatever it might be, what the impact is, and then we also are realistic about the costs associated with that customer segment purchasing our products or services. What kind of costs are they going to incur? How can we mitigate those costs, and so that the value goes higher? So here is a definition of value proposition. It is the profitable value we can put inside our customer experience. Eric, let me ask you, why would I say it's the profitable value we can put in our customers?
Well, the value is the perception of the customer. So a profitable value for the business would be, you know, what they see as valuable, and the customer experience is going to have a direct impact on the value or the profit that the business makes. So if the customer has a bad experience, our profitable value is going down. Is that?
That is an absolutely wonderful answer. One of the things that we have to understand as business owners is that our value proposition is a two-way street. We want to create value for our customers as they define value. At the same time, when we offer our products or services as part of that value proposition, in return, we want to see money, revenue, and profitability. So it's a two-way street. If we have a value proposition that doesn't make us profit, then really it's an unsustainable business model. And that's why we say profitable value that we're going to put into our customers. So here's how you build here are the components of a value proposition. And you can read them off the screen, but there are 5 of them, and we'll take a deeper dive in each one of them. So let's look at the first one, which is the market. Oops, just let me say this. As we go through this, we'll take a look, always coming back to how your customers are going to make decisions, and we'll look at the 6 attributes that the old brain uses to make a decision. So we'll marry these 2 up. So looking at your market, just like we talked about, who are you? What problems do they have? How do they look at value? And do you have access to this market? So anytime you're thinking about moving into new territory, in a new competitive area, these are the kinds of questions you must ask about the market you're trying to reach. The next step is we look, once we know our customer segment and what they value, what problems they have, then we look at our product offerings. And how do our offerings map to that segment? And we do this mapping. And at what level do we provide value for this customer segment? And you'll do that for each one of the defined segments you have or you're trying to target. And remember, the higher you go up on the value hierarchy, the more you can probably charge for your services. In addition, here's one note I want to make, is that when we talk about the benefits that we're going to deliver to these customers in a particular segment, we have to make sure that we go beyond expected benefits. When I take my vehicle in to have it maintained, I expect that the person who works on my vehicle is going to be an ASE certified technician. That's just an expectation. If you put that in your advertising, fine, but I expect that. I expect they know what they're going, know what to do. I expect that they will have the right tools and all those things. That's expected. Now, a delighter might be if that same technician were to call me up and give me a personal consultation about my vehicle and lay out a whole plan for how I might maintain my vehicle so I can keep it longer, get more power, reduce fuel costs, and create more economy, now that would be a delighter to me. That would be, and he would do it at a low or no charge. That would be really something that's a delighter. So make sure, as we're marketing to our segments with our value proposition, that our value proposition includes some delighters. The next part is, how are we different than our competition going after the segment? Eric, I want to put you on the spot.
All right.
Is there any competition to the chamber? Is there any organization that would be competing for membership besides the San Marcos Chamber?
Yes and no. There's the San Marcos Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and other chambers in the area, but for our localized area, we're the main nonprofit business membership organization.
Do organizations like the Elks Club or the JCs or anything like that, do you consider that competition?
No, because actually they are typically members of the Chamber of Commerce as well. And a lot of the members of those organizations will either volunteer with us or become ambassadors to help our Chamber of Commerce. And we work together in helping to get information out. So they're not necessarily a competition, but in a way they are, because we're still kind of fighting for the same finances, you could say.
Okay, fair enough. And Tish, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot. When you want to have your nails done, or you want to go to a tanning place, whatever it is, how do you make that decision?
Truthfully, I make the decision based on how I'm treated at these facilities. I much rather pay $5 more somewhere, knowing that I'm being treated nicely. They remember my name. They remember things about me, maybe something I've mentioned in my past experience with them whenever I visited, compared to someplace being much cheaper and them not even knowing the difference if I came in yesterday or today or last week or anything. So I personally make the decision based on customer service.
Okay, so that's a wonderful situation. Let's go back. If we think about our old brain and how we make decisions, one of the components of how our old brain makes decisions was emotions. What I heard you say in your words is those nail salons or tanning places, wherever you go, they remembered your name, they made you feel good or feel important or feel appreciated. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So that level of emotion, that feeling good, feeling appreciated, is a significant decision criteria. Notice how it played to the old brain, and that's one of the key criteria. The other, Eric, in your case, is there are benefits, and as part of the benefits, the chamber has some more significant benefits than, say, the Rotary Club or some other of the nonprofit organizations. And this is what it's all about when it comes to differentiation. The question is, so what? If I'm just a nail place that treats everybody the same, how am I different from the next nail place down the street that treats everybody the same? What benefits do I have that are substantially valuable to my customers from their point of view and are significantly differentiated from anybody in the nail business locally? So what I want you to do is look at this chart real quickly and tell me, what could you do with benefit number 2? First of all, tell me about benefit number 2.
I'm going to unmute our attendees and give them a chance to answer verbally if they'd like to. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. So with the question that was posed, it's what would benefit to be, basically?
What if we're looking at this? When we look at this screen and we see our graph, and on the x-axis we've got customer value, on the y-axis we've got differentiation. If we have some business that provides benefits 1, 2, and 3, let's look at benefit number 2. What can you tell me about benefit number 2?
Well, it's more about being different.
It's highly different than any other. Our competition doesn't have benefits.
Yep. Right, like a Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
But those customers.
If we take Tish's example, maybe they pick us up in a limousine to have our nails done. I mean, that's a benefit.
Yeah.
It's very different than everybody else. What else can you tell me about benefit number 2?
Less customer value.
Yeah, customers don't see it. I mean, it's very different, but customers don't see a lot of value in it.
Mm-hmm.
So what could we do with benefit number 2?
Add more customer value. Find, I would say, find that the segment that you're trying to reach and focus more toward them.
Excellent answer. What about in terms of our value hierarchy? Remember, we had a value hierarchy. The lowest level was just a product or service. The next level up was?
The package, bundles.
Bundles, right. What could we do to benefit number 2?
Add the fries and a drink to the Big Mac.
Absolutely. Why couldn't we bundle more services with it or bundle other products with it? It's very differentiated. It's far different than our competition is doing, but our customers don't see it as having much value. What if we wrap some more stuff in it to give it more value according to what our customers see? That might be a significant opportunity for this particular business. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Okay. Good. All right. Let's move on. The fourth thing you want to do is have proof. You have to have proof. If you're going to say that we are the roofing company that guarantees our products for 20 years from leaks, cracks, and wood damage to the roof of your home, you have to have something to back it up, not just our words. Because, remember, our old brain that makes decisions, it wants something. It's very selfish. It's all about me. And if someone just says, hey, our roofs last 20 years and we guarantee there will be no cracks or whatever it is in the shingles for a lifetime, we need to play on that somehow by providing proof. We do a case study where our roof tiles have been compared to others on the market and ours come out substantially better. There's a lot of evidence. Well, that can be visual information that our old brain accepts. It could be contrast between one product to another. So there's lots of ways to create a positive decision-making environment for our old brain. Maybe one of the things that we show them if we're talking about this roof shingles is maybe we show a product that isn't as good as ours, a home that has deteriorated roof boards versus a home with our product on it, and 30 years later it's just as good as new. There's a comparison before and after, and also there could be creating a lot of emotions. If you lose your home, there are valuables in your home. They get waterlogged. You could be putting yourself at risk. So you can create some emotions there also to help the person make a decision and create more value. Okay? Also, when we come to the experience, when your customers interact with your business, there are a series of emotions that are clearly going to make the experience either better or worse, and I'll give you an example. Eric, have you taken your vehicle in to have it repaired?
I have in the past, yes.
Can you describe an experience? How would you characterize the experience?
Well, actually, the place that I took it to, they did a really good job. They were very open and honest, and treated me with respect. They knew that the situation I was dealing with wasn't a fun one to have to deal with, and so they were very sympathetic to my needs and helped me out as much as they possibly could.
Now that's interesting. Would you say, Eric, in that situation, because they were open, honest, they understood it wasn't a pleasant situation, would you say that you felt cared for in that situation, that you could trust those people that you brought your vehicle to?
Absolutely.
Can you find at which layer, if you look at our pyramid, what layer would you say is appropriate to your situation, your experience?
For me, the advocacy.
You think it would be, you left that place happy and pleased, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Because those are two emotions that do create advocacy. Would you recommend that repair facility?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You would tell family members about it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see how emotions can create behaviors that we want? Or have you ever had a bad experience taking your vehicle in for repair?
For the most part, I've been pretty lucky.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's absolutely wonderful. Tisha, have you had any negative experience taking a vehicle in?
Well, I might be the exception. I don't normally take my car in, mainly because my father works on my car and he's very good with those type of things. But so far, I've had good luck, and whenever things do go wrong, fortunately my dad knows all about that, so he will take it to a place, and if he can't take care of it, he'll take it somewhere and they'll work on it. And sometimes he comes back and he's upset because they didn't treat him right, and yeah, he didn't go back there again. But fortunately, I do have the opportunity to kind of hand over my vehicle to my dad.
That is a wonderful thing. And that's a great position to be in also. If we look at the pyramid and we look at the red zone, those are all the emotions that are going to have a negative impact on our business. So, Tisha, when you went to your nail place and they didn't remember your name or they made you wait, any of those emotions that you felt neglected, unhappy, unsatisfied, you're probably, if that behavior continues, you're probably not going to go back to that nail salon. And you, Eric, because you felt happy and pleased, you could trust these organization, you're going to advocate for them. You're going to become a customer disciple for them. So
Absolutely.
using emotions to move our customers to a place of advocacy by creating more value, using the emotional part, the decision-making part of the brain, we can create loyal customers who we retain longer and become much more profitable than a one-time customer who comes in, visits, and then leaves. That all makes sense.
Yes.
Good. All right, if we want to create a message, and we want to get our message out, the impact, the power of our message is going to be based on the number of emotions or the intensity of one emotion by the number of times we repeat it. So if you want to get a powerful message out about your business, create a strong emotion and repeat it several times. Can you think of an example of who would do this? Any company or organization?
caught me off guard, I gotta say.
Okay, how about you're in good hands?
Oh, with Allstate, yeah.
Absolutely.
The Geico lizard, or gecko.
Right. There's a lot of things about trust and quality. If you, the Johnson and Johnson company, they always say they're what kind of company? Johnson Johnson, we're a
Family company.
family company. So what we're trying to do, when you hear family, what emotions pop up?
You think of your family and love and caring.
Absolutely. So we associate those emotions with the company. The message becomes one of love and caring. Johnson & Johnson, family company. We like those guys. Let's buy their product. So they make the connection. All right. So here we are in the home stretch. Let's all sum it up. What happens if we look at our brand hierarchy, the brand, experience, conversation, and promotion. At the brand level, make sure that you define your segments and state how your product offerings can impact your customers. When we meet our customers at the experience level, we want to make sure that we create value, define value, and differentiate. As our customers experience us, they're going to start talking about us. We want to make sure that our experience is laden with emotions. Remember those emotions we talked about in Eric's case where it caused him to be loyal to that company, to become an advocate for that company. We want to put as many emotions as possible. We want to go ahead and make sure that we're consistent, we execute and standardize. So for that customer segment that comes into our organization, they're going to get a consistent experience from our point of view as we deliver it. They are going to define it however they define it, but at least we know that we have standardized what we think are how they see value and what the emotions we want to create, and look at the results. And then on the promotion side, getting our marketing message out there and our advertising message out there, we want to make sure our message is powerful by ladening it with emotion and repetition. So, anybody have any questions?
I can't think of any. I'm going to go ahead and unmute our attendees again in case they have any questions that they'd like to ask verbally. So I'm unmuting right now. So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to chime in. So anybody any questions about any of the slides or graphs?
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah,
I hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was curious to find out, this is Frank Torres, I was curious to find out, do you have any examples of tech companies that are using neuromarketing in a great way?
Frank, I don't have any specifics. But that's a great question. Let me.
Well, I think Apple has done a great job, but I was just trying to think. I'm a co-founder of a tech company, and when I saw this invitation, I thought it definitely worth obviously viewing, and I was just curious if you had any tech companies in mind that may be using it effectively.
Apple clearly is a leader in that whole area. I mean, you look at Google; they're pretty good in how they market themselves. Facebook in creating all the buzz about themselves. It goes on and on. I mean, you're a smart guy, Frank. You can probably see it across the tech industry in many ways.
Correct. Okay.
Sounds like somebody's cooking.
I'm sorry, I've got but my front door's being worked on.
Oh.
In the background.
Frank, let me ask you, Frank, based upon what you saw and heard, and I don't know where you jumped in on this, how would you characterize the level of value you got out of it because you used your time to sit in on it.
Well, for me, it was actually very valuable. I've getting involved in the marketing side of our business and our messaging is something I'm going to do more. So for me, it was very valuable because it pointed out some things, and I was going through in my mind as you were speaking, and I see where we've hit the mark and where we've missed the mark. And I think we've got to do a better job of, I think, looking at it from your perspective and kind of tying it all together as we push our message into the market.
Great. And I hope, and that's the whole purpose, is to leave you with some ideas that you might be able to put into your business and make it more successful. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
you're quite welcome.
Tisha, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I really appreciate this webinar, and I got a lot out of it personally. Being a public relations major, communication studies minor, and this is extremely beneficial. About to go out into the work world, and you know, I need to take into account the value system and how people, how they only they want a lot for themselves, and we need to be able to attract to them and be able to adapt and try to get the most for others and for ourselves as well.
And Tisha, I just want to tell you that, remember that whole emotional decision making, our old brain, the self-centeredness, the contrast, the visual, the emotional, all those things, that can be very effective as you do your interviewing for jobs. Remember, when you interview, the answers that you want to give people are from their perspective. The emotions you want to create are that if when they hire you, they are getting a known commodity, a person who is going to be no risk, they're going to fit into the organization. So all those things, those decision-making attributes of the old brain, I strongly encourage you, as you're practicing your interviews and writing your resume, that you touch on as many of those as possible from the point of view of the person who's going to be either interviewing you or looking at your resume.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it for questions, you think, Eric?
I think so. Do you want to go ahead and put up your last slide? And
I've got two slides. I'm putting a shameless promotion on one of your. Okay, this is about our company, and I was just saying that we're like the corporate matchmaker or the company matchmaker for your business. We help your customers fall in love with your business. We get your employees more engaged, and then we hopefully, the owners and leaders of the business have a better relationship with more profits and more revenue. If anything, if you want this presentation, if you want the resources on which it was based, if you just send me an email or give me a call, I will be more than happy to send you out any information.
Absolutely, and also I'd like to say that I'm going to email a survey to the attendees, because I like to find out how we're doing, and I like to get feedback on our presenters. So I'll send that out here in about an hour. That way, this is still kind of fresh on everybody's mind, and I'll have Ron, your information at the end of it as well. That way, if they want to contact you directly and haven't written it down or something, that they'll have another way to access your information and access your mind.
Absolutely, I'd be delighted.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all coming on and attending the webinar, and Ron, I appreciate you taking the time and putting this webinar together and talking to us about neuromarketing. I know it's helping me, in what I have to do with the chamber as the communications manager, and I'm glad that we were able to have Tisha join us as well. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and if there's any questions, feel free to contact any of us at any time.